Listen up, get ready, I'm not gonna take no more. There's a revolution, a revelation going on in my soul. Buckle up, get ready, we're not gonna sit back.
Welcome back, all you citizens of the world. This is live from the Heartland for the week of October 24th. I'm still Michael James, and I'm really glad that we have someone from Indivisible coming on. They do great work. I get an email every day talking about an action we can take. We've had some people from Indivisible on the show before, and we thought, given the history of the last few days with marches around the country, the No Kings marches and rallies, that we should have someone from Indivisible again. And I'm really glad that Deb Rosenberg is joining us. Good day to you, Deb.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How about giving us a little bit of a recap of what went on here in Chicago and even beyond, all across the country?
Sure. Well, I mean, nationally, everybody is saying, because it's true, this was the biggest peaceful protest in American history, at least. So I'm more focused. I was so gratified and with what happened here in Chicago. So, of course, all eyes were on Chicago. So we felt a little special because of the horrific, we're an occupied city almost anyway, or they want us to be. And for sure, ICE is here and attacking our neighbors. And so we felt like it was really important for us to show up, for this community to show up. And we organized with that in mind. And so we had, we think it was about 250,000 people in Chicago. And then, of course, now there were events all around Chicago, too. There was a separate rally in Evanston and a rally in Naperville and a rally in Arlington Heights. So you count all those together, we probably had close to 300,000 people in the Chicago area out. And from my point of view, because I worked really hard on this, I have to say, not only did we get all those 300,000 people out there, this was a united collective action we had about 70 organizations that were not only endorsers, but who worked with us. We really, although Indivisible was the point organization, this was way more than Indivisible. And so we see that as equally important, is knowing how many partners we had with us in this event.
Yeah, it was a wonderful event. The weather held.
We were really happy about that. We had our fingers crossed about that.
Yeah, it was great, and the CTA was packed. We came down. I was trying to get on the L before 11 because it was free, and I don't know who pulled that off, but we really we love our city, and we really love our CTA, and. The conductor or the driver kept saying, "There's another train behind us. There's another train. Don't jam in." But it was from Rogers Park on down. It was just packed.
Yep.
That was great. I've been to a lot of marches in my life. I spoke at a number of them, and I participated. This was really uplifting. And one of the things that I noted that you might want to comment on is earlier marches here in the city around Trump, basically. I saw a lot of white hairs, older people. I could identify with that these days. But one thing that hit me about the march the other day as we were all gathered at Butler Field, how many young people were there too, and families were there, young families and everything. It was really across the board age-wise.
I think you're absolutely right, but I was also, it was to me more multiracial. It was everything. It was really, and in fact, I don't know if you heard this, but are you the usual chant of, tell me what democracy looks like. This is what it was getting changed in the crowd to tell me what Chicago looks like. This is what Chicago looks like, or even tell me what America looks like. This is what America looks like. So I just thought that was fabulous. It's really good.
Yeah. What was your take on how the media covered it, both here in Chicago and nationally? I know there was some criticism of the New York Times for not having anything on the back or the front page the day after. You
Yeah,
know, I look at The Guardian, I look at Al Jazeera, you know, a lot of things. What's your take on the media coverage of this great event?
I mean, I think it was better than it was maybe 6 months ago when we did Hands Off Chicago. But I think your criticism is valid. I mean, we're seeing, the mainstream media is just still really acquiescing often to and not wanting to do anything that's going to get them in trouble with the regime, and that's what we're fighting against. And I think the more that we come out, and they can't ignore the resistance now, they really can't. And I think that's one of the points of doing an event like this.
Can you clue us in on any future plans? What do you think is going to happen next?
Actually, so if I can, I wanted to comment on, I've seen on social media, and I'm sure you have too, there are some people who are saying, well, a big march is great, but, in order to really fight this regime and fight fascism, we need to be doing a lot more. We maybe need to be doing more boycotts or general strike or, big things. And I think Indivisible really understands that too, but we feel like we're at this stage of really movement building, and that's what this march was part of. You don't want any of those, a big action like a general strike, for example. It's horrible if it fails, if we don't have the unity, don't have the support, don't have the wherewithal to make it be what it needs to be to succeed. So to me, an event like this is building towards those other things. But to be more specific, to answer your question, we're always doing something. We don't stop. And actually, I'd like, if people go to our website, indivisiblechicago.com, we now have a whole take action page. You see it right when you get there. And I mean, we are really trying to build, I guess, what some people have called either a culture of defiance or a culture of activism. There's things to do, as you say, every day. You can sign up for our daily actions. We make it as easy as possible for people to stay involved, be involved, do whatever, do 1 hour a week, do 10 hours a week, do everything from electoral work to grassroots organizing to small visibility events all over town. There's things like that we are doing constantly. So you just have to, people just have to get there and start getting hooked into those other actions.
I think that this period in our history is going to produce a lot of new organizers and people who are really committed to the cause.
For sure.
There's all this. The other side they claim young people, young guys. I think that the future is on our side. And I think that it's very important at this period in time for a march like this to be so uplifting for so many people after the kind of barrage of negativity we've been hit with. I believe we'll still face a lot of losses. We had a number of years. But we need to really kick ourselves in the pants, cheer ourselves up, and go forward, because we will make a difference. We will win eventually. We, in the face of all these challenges, I mean, at the same time the march was going on, there was, day earlier, there was all this stuff going on in Rogers Park. ICE was rampant. And as of yesterday, just a day before we record this show, Andre Vasquez put out a list of all the places nearby where I live that ICE had been spotted.
Yep.
So we got to keep at it.
Right. Absolutely. And actually, people should really, I know you know this, but the kinds of ongoing work now, given that situation, is people can get involved in the rapid response networks that are all over town. And if you don't feel you can do those kinds of really, closer contact with ICE kinds of events, there's mutual aid networks all over the city that people can get involved with, helping our neighbors stay safe. So we need to be doing that.
And everybody needs to get their whistle.
And everybody, right, I don't have one yet. I need my whistle.
Yeah, I got to figure out where I got this from. Maria Haddon's office.
Yeah.
And let me just, I'm looking at some notes that were sent to me. Just, you know, South Haven, Michigan, 4,000 people. Ipswich, 13,000. Bozeman, Montana, 58,000. You know, it goes on and on.
Yep.
You guys did a great job of turning people out.
Yeah. And again, we felt it was so important here, given our situation here. It was so important here to build power and to show ourselves that we have power, and to for sure show the regime we have power, and we're not backing down. So,
Deb Rosenberg, is there a particular date with something going to happen that you want to call people's attention to? Is there another march planned?
You know, there's no other big mobilization that I know of, but I mean, again, there's something called Disappeared in America that's happening the first weekend in November. That's a national it's going to be at Home Depots about, you know, attacking day laborers union is about that. It's about doing vigils at courthouses. There's a whole lot of activities. Again, that's not Indivisible. It's a whole partnership of groups. Again, Indivisible is going to have a day of action. People should really think about joining our local chapters. You know, I work citywide for Indivisible, but there's chapters in almost every neighborhood, and it, you know, really helps you get involved with your community doing local work. And there's just stuff going on all the time.
Deb, I really want to thank you for coming on live from the Heartland, and we'll have